I wanted to just go over some pros and cons and whether I recommend the bike or not, in no particular order really, but I'll start out with the pros of this bike. But as far as pros go, the first few that come to mind are the price. Some people disagree with it, but for like $3,500 new, brand new with 0 miles on it, you can get one of these bikes used less than $3,000 on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. So I think that's a big plus or a big pro, because my first bike ever, I paid closer to $8,000 for it, and that was a used bike. This one I bought brand new. Oh, don't do it. So first pro would be price for me, is that you can have a brand new bike, a brand new awesome bike for like $3,500, $3,600, or a used Grom, which these things hold up really well because it's just a Honda with an indestructible motor on it, for, you know, sub 3,000. And it's a great bike to learn on, or a great bike to have as a second bike, as in like you would have a primary bike and this would be your second bike. Or for me, this is basically my only bike. I've got another bike in the garage, but this is the only bike that I'm riding. For, yeah, like $3,500. That's nothing compared to some of these bikes out there that are 10 grand plus, 20 grand plus even sometimes on some of the higher end bikes. The second pro that I'd give for this bike is the how light it is. Ooh. Sorry, let me focus. Yeah, how light it is. I mean, this thing, just due to the size and the weight, you could flat foot it really easily. I could see smaller people being able to flat foot it really easily, women being able to flat foot it really easily, which I think is important for a first bike. At least it was important for me for a first bike. So just the size and the weight. And because it's so light, it's just super flickable and super nimble and just really easy to maneuver. And not that I've ever felt like I would drop this bike. I've never really had an instance where I thought I was going to drop this bike or something like that. But when you have a bike that this light, all you got to do is put your foot down. You know, if you're at a slow speed or whatever, you could lean on a leg and you're not going to drop this bike. It's just super light and nimble. Even moving it around my garage, loading it up onto the back of my truck, which I did just recently, super light, pushing it up that ramp, no problem. It just makes it really beginner friendly, and then me, as a not beginner, makes it just super easy for me. So I would say the size and the weight of this thing is a huge pro, and it just makes it really fun. And because of the weight, even though this is a 125, because it's a 125, because of the weight power ratio just makes it really fun to ride, and makes it I don't know, really approachable and really fun. I mean, it's really brought back my love for riding, because my last bike, which was a 600-pound bike, I think, dry, something like that, was fun too, but it wasn't flickable or nimble like this. And I honestly didn't enjoy riding it as much, even though it was a much bigger, faster, stronger bike. So that would be my second pro of these Groms. It's just the size and the weight. And then I guess the third pro of these Groms is the aftermarket support. I haven't done much to it yet, but because these bikes are so wildly popular, you can find aftermarket parts, all kinds of aftermarket parts, whether it's like cheaper, lower end ones on Amazon, things like that, to super high end ones, expensive one, name brands, Kemimoto. They make the Pro Taper bars for it, stuff like that. There's thousands and thousands of options for this bike. The only thing that I've done so far is the fender delete. So I moved my license plate up a little bit, which I'm super happy with, but there were dozens of options for that. I ended up going with the Kemimoto, and I'll do a video, or maybe probably just a short on that, kind of showing it. But the aftermarket support is huge on these bikes, way bigger than I had on my last bike. And People are really big into customizing these things, and you could do it really cheap if you want to, or you can go really high end and make this bike exactly what you want it to be, which I love. I just love the modularity and just the options out there. So I'll say that's a third pro. A fourth pro is, because they're so popular, there's lots of groups for people that like group riding. I love group riding. I haven't done it much lately. I've only ridden with my wife in recent times, but there's tons of Grom groups. I just joined one on Facebook. They're not super active, it doesn't seem like, maybe for my city, but there's tons of groups of Grom and Kawasaki Z125 enthusiasts that get together and rip on these things. Some of them stunt them out, do wheelies, all that kind of stuff, but there's groups that you can find to ride with in a huge community, kind of like how Harley guys like riding together, or American motorcycle guys riding together. You don't really find, like, I don't know, Honda Rebel riding groups, or Kawasaki Ninja riding groups, like specific to a bike much. But when it comes to Honda Groms, they have a super strong community. And even just riding around last couple days, or even riding around in my truck last couple days, I've seen tons of Groms around my city. And I've seen little Grom groups when I used to ride on my old bike, and they just look like they were having a blast. And I do want to get involved in that eventually. I just gotta, you know, find a group, I guess, which I haven't been very proactive about. My fifth pro for this bike would be that it's a head turner. People love this bike. It's tiny. I'm a bigger dude. I'm about 6 foot. I'm light right now, but I'm 6 foot, like 215 on average, and I'm big on this bike. It's still comfortable. It's super comfortable for me. But when I'm riding with my wife and she's on her bike, which is a standard size bike, a standard cruiser, I look interesting. I look funny. People love this bike. People roll down their windows, ask me what this bike is all the time, ask me if it's street legal. Dude, I got a license plate on this thing. I got turn signals. Like, yeah, it's street legal, but it's a head turner, and I just think it's hilarious. Just because, not like it's a troll, like I didn't get it for the memes or to be a troll or whatever, but I do think it's kind of silly and fun in a way. And even people that don't know shit about bikes that are asking me about it think it's silly and fun too, which nobody cared at all. Nobody asked me ever on my last bike anything about it, aside from just like giving it a quick glance because I'm in traffic with them, just so they don't hit me or whatever. But it's a head turner, it's a conversation starter. Even my neighbors, I've noticed, are way more curious about this bike than my last bike. So yeah, it's just fun, man. Like, I haven't had this much fun riding in years. I've been riding for, I don't know, probably a little over 5 years. I couldn't even tell you, but this is the most fun I've had on a motorcycle, period. And it's a way smaller bike than what I'm used to. But you know how they say you don't measure bikes in miles per gallon, you measure it in smiles per gallon. I smile way more. I just have a blast every single time. I wouldn't be recording these if I wasn't having so much fun. Like, I didn't record any. I had zero footage of my old bike, I don't think. Because although I loved it, although it was my first bike, everybody loves their first bike. This bike, it just hits different. I have so much fun on this thing. I've ridden it in the rain. I've ridden it. It's over 100 degrees real feel, but because of how fun this bike is, I'm constantly finding excuses to get on this thing. Then this might be pro number 6, is the fuel efficiency. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm gonna look at it real quick. But I'm averaging like 113 miles per gallon on this bike. That's absurd compared to my truck or my old bike. Because if you're strapped for cash and you get a cheaper bike such as this one, or even cheaper, a Z125, you can get the whole bike brand new for $3,600 bucks, you know, before tax, tag, and title, obviously. But and then pay nothing to fill it up and ride forever. I don't know when's the last time I filled up this gas tank. I didn't fill it up in Florida when I had this bike down in Florida. I didn't fill up this bike when I was in Florida, not a single time. I'm back in my city, haven't filled it up at all. I still got 2 bars left on this thing. But I'm averaging, like I said, about 113 miles per gallon, and that's dirt cheap. It cost me $4 to $5 to fill this thing up on gas, and $4 to $5 to fill up times 113 miles per gallon. Like, that's cheap. That's super cheap. It's beautiful. I love it. I might fill up today just for fun, but just to give me an excuse to ride a little longer and take another stop. But I don't need to. I could probably go out for my next ride without filling this thing up too. But since I'm on the highway, I might as well go ahead and mention my first con of owning a Honda Grom or riding a Honda Grom is it's tough to make highway speeds. I'm going 62 miles per gallon. Sorry. I'm going 63 miles per hour right now. And I think the speed limit's 70 here. I'm probably pissing a lot of people off. That's why I'm in the right lane. I'm in the slow lane because I do a lot of city riding. Almost all of my riding is city riding. But when I have to hop on the highway for an exit or two, I can't keep up with highway traffic. Not a big deal for me. Don't really care. I have another bike in my garage that could, you know, easily make highway speeds, but I'm not riding it right now, and I don't even care to ride it right now because this is way more fun. I think I've gotten this thing up to like 64, 65, maybe with a tailwind and going downhill. But you cannot reliably, without modifications, match highway speeds on this, and it just is what it is, and I'm good with that. I'm cool with that. So that's the first con, is if you've got a lot of highway riding, just be prepared to not be able to match highway speeds that much. If you're just hopping on for an exit or two like I do, whatever, no biggie. People can go around you, people can deal with it. Second con of this motorcycle that I'd say is because it's small and it's quiet. I don't have an aftermarket exhaust on this thing yet. I'm not even sure if I will, but I do notice, even though I said it is a head turner, but I do notice that people that aren't paying attention, that are messing around on their phone or whatever, it's a lot harder to catch their attention out of the corner of their eye on this bike, just because of the smaller profile and because it's quiet. This exhaust is quiet. The stock exhaust isn't silent, but it is quiet. And if somebody's playing music in their car, they're very likely to not hear you. And I have noticed that. I've noticed a big difference. That's kind of the standard. That's kind of the norm on bikes anyways. But even more so on this bike than other bikes that I've been on. You really got to be careful. You got to practice your defensive riding, just to make sure you're seen or noticed. And yeah, if I'm riding at night or something, I would consider like even wearing something reflective. I don't know. I haven't really done that much night riding yet, but it is harder to notice than other bikes. And I do have the all black, matte black finish, so I'm sure that doesn't help either. It's cool. I actually kind of dig it because riding around my neighborhood, my last bike was probably obnoxiously loud and annoyed my neighbors, and this one I can slip in and out of my neighborhood undetected. One of the dudes in my comments said because their bike is quiet, they were able to ride around all the little sidewalks to a golf course, Mario Kart style, and do laps to it undetected because the bike is small and quiet. And that honestly sounds super fun to me, and I kind of want to do it. I don't know, you know, where the golf courses are, but I kind of want to find one and just rip laps around the sidewalk, Mario Kart style, like I said, because it just sounds fun, and I could never get away with something like that on my old bike. So yeah, I kind of like put a pro into that, but it is a con. It's less noticeable for sure. As far as other cons go, I don't know if I have any other cons that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, like the power, the speed. I mean, I guess that would be the big one. That would be the only main one that comes to mind. But if you're considering it, I say do it. I say 100% do it. They're so fun. They're the most fun you can have on a motorcycle, in my opinion. And I've been on just about every kind of motorcycle. My dad's got a KTM, like a enduro dual sport type situation. I've been on sports bikes, I've been on cruisers, been on Harley, I've been on American bikes, I've been on Japanese bikes. This is the most fun I've had owning a motorcycle, hands down, and it's not even close, even though it's way smaller and way less powerful and way slower than my other bikes. I say go for it. If it's your first bike, as in your first bike ever, go for it. I think this thing would be so simple and so easy to learn on as a first bike. And if it's not your first bike and you already own a bike, I think this is a great second bike to own, as in like addition to your first bike, because you might need a bigger, faster bike to hit those highway speeds and do those things. And then this could just be your little toy, your little fun bike. And that's basically what it is for me. The other bike in my garage isn't mine, it's my wife's, so I have access to it, but this is my bike. This is my one and only bike. It's not my second bike. I traded in my old bike for this bike, and I'm finding myself riding this thing way more and having way more fun. So I say go for it. Yeah, if anybody's looking for a reason, or if they're on the fence, and if they're looking for somebody to tell them to do it, I'm telling you, do it. If you're looking for a sign from God, here's your sign. A month in, and not only do I not regret my purchase, I am 100,000 billion million % satisfied with my purchase. God damn, I have so much fun. I mean, I trailered this thing. I went through the whole process of trailering this thing down to Florida, just because while I was gone back home, I didn't want to be without it. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. Those are my pros, those are my cons. I'm probably missing one or two, but you could see that overwhelmingly I support someone grabbing a Grom, and overwhelmingly I have more pros than cons for this motorcycle. So yeah, drop a comment if you have any questions about it. A lot of people have been. I love answering them. When I see that notification, it puts a smile on my face, because you guys either love Groms because you own them, or you're super curious about them, and I love them too. So I love answering questions. And then yeah, if you like the content, or if you have any interest in Groms, drop me a subscribe, a follow. I'd really appreciate it. My channel's growing slowly but surely, and I'm having a lot of fun not only riding this Grom, but just like sharing it with you guys. So yeah, see ya.